its story after the inauguration of the new Parliament building on Sunday. Prime Minister Modi saying that leveraging Indian culture while inaugurating the new Temple of Democracy, installing the revered Chola relic, the Sengol, right next to the Speaker's chair. While 21 opposition parties boycotted the ceremony, they continue to throw jibes at the entire event, the nature of it. Tamil Nadu Minister Mano Thangaraj accused the Prime Minister of not being dignified in his conduct when he prostrated himself before the Sengol. After first comparing the new Parliament building's design to that of a coffin, the RJD today mocked the Sengol in another tweet with a crude use of a Bollywood villain character. And also, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee put a before and after tweet accusing the BJP of saffronising the new Parliament. The BJP has hit back at all these parties, accusing them of insulting Indian culture, while the whole world is looking to India on the global stage, with the new Parliament being a major milestone. Are these petty barbs only going to malign a new and rising India's image?
This kind of pseudo-secular vote bank politics has driven them to not just opposing Prime Minister Modi, but in the name of opposing Prime Minister Modi, to oppose every aspect of Indian culture.
All right, on the talking point this evening, Aprajita Sarangi, Lok Sabha Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Sarika Paswan is spokesperson of the RJD, JP Majumdar, State Vice President and spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, and Anand Neelkanthan, author and historian, will be joining us. Aprajita Sarangi, you've seen what the various opposition parties have tweeted out, have reacted. I won't get into the low barbs just yet. We're waiting for the RJD spokesperson. But what about what the TMC Supremo put out saying, look at the picture of the Parliament inauguration that happened in 1927 and the first members of the Constituent Assembly in 1947, and then compared that to the seers of the Adinam who were there yesterday when the new Parliament building inauguration happened. This is the tweet by the Bengal Chief Minister.
A very good evening. The people who oppose the new Parliament are the same set of people who had opposed the coming up of Central Vista, the coming of light-speed trains, the coming up of upgraded government offices and the installation of Netaji Subhas Bose statue on the Kartavya Path. So I think these people are not comfortable with whatever good work that Prime Minister Modi and this entire team does. See, the fact remains that in July 2012, it was Madam Meera Kumar, the then Speaker, who had written to the then Secretary, Housing and Urban Affairs, that she accorded approval for the construction of the new building of the Parliament, and that she gave top priority to it, and that the work should get started immediately. But imagine 2012 and 2020, 10th December 2020, the foundation stone is laid down by Honorable Prime Minister, and in not more than 2.5 years, the beautiful, magnificent building of Parliament comes up. So I think the endeavour of the government of Prime Minister Modi needs to be complimented, applauded. So at this juncture, all these people who get into criticism can only be kind of, sympathized with. They do because they want to do this. They will criticize because that is how, they are scared of the soaring popularity of Honorable Prime Minister. See.
Okay, so let me ask JP Majumdar, isn't it distasteful, Mr. Majumdar, that you have a new parliament building. It's not just for the ruling party or the treasury benches, it's for everyone, it's for the opposition included. And the Chief Minister of Bengal tweets out, oh, look at the people who were there in 1947 after independence and look at the people who are there in this new parliament building. Mr. Majumdar.
No, there are some basic questions. It's not a question that Mira Kumar has decided to build or she has opined something. It's not the question. BJP spokesperson and BJP people are shifting the goalpost every time the discussion comes to the fore. The point is, it is a reactive position of opposition parties to boycott the ceremony. The first event is created by the Prime Minister and the BJP party by boycotting the President from the Parliament inauguration. It was built by the money of the taxpayer. Nothing great about BJP spending money. It's a money of taxpayer. So what is great about it? The question is, the Parliament definition as per the Constitution. There is nothing called PM or Prime Minister. The three aspects is involved in the definition of Parliament in our valued Constitution, that is President, one upper house and one lower house.
You are answering everything except the question I asked you. What was the need for this picture? These are the members after 1947 and this is the picture that was taken in 2023.
Right. You listen, just.
No, I don't have all the time in the world. Come to the point quickly, please.
I know. You have got, less patience than me. Anyway, listen. The question is, the Parliament is the temple of democracy, not temple of either Jesus Christ or Shiva or Buddhism, or for that matter, it's a mosque. That you take together some of the monks and line up them and say Hindutva ka jai ho. The Parliament is not for that. The Constitution starts with very 4 words. Preamble starts with very 4 words. We, the people of India. It's not a sect. It's not a religion. That is why it is said that, see, this is the temple of democracy, not temple of any other kind, but Modi and these BJP people has forgotten that aspect.
Okay.
They want to saffronise, they want to make one particular religion or some part of it.
So let me ask Anand Neelkanthan, respond to this criticism that by having Hindu rituals and the Sengol being given pride of place, all of the criticism from the TMC and other opposition parties is that you are now making this into almost like a religious state, as opposed to, it's parliament, it's a democratic enterprise, not something that's linked to one's faith.
I think this is a very Western notion of secularism we are talking about. It is a very inclusive way in which India has always taken all religions, including atheism. So there was an all-prayer meeting there, isn't it? There was an all-prayer meeting there, and all religions were respected. And these are all the cultural aspects of the country. You cannot desist away from the culture. You cannot move away from the culture and say that, no, everything will kill. It's a very religious country. Personally, people could be atheists, people could believe in any religion, but it is all inclusive about even, see the Republic Day parade, not just what is happening now, it was right from the beginning of the Republic Day parades. We were showing all aspects of our country, the entire diversity, and it had a lot of religious themes in that, isn't it? Even now it always had religious themes. So
no. What they're arguing is that yesterday's ceremony had an overt, there were Havans and Puja and the Sengol and the Adinams. Yes, there was a multi-faith prayer that happened, but then everything else, what should be a constitutional function for Parliament, for elected representatives, the will of the people as it were, became a quasi-religious function.
It always is, any part of the world, wherever these things happen, American president takes oath on a Bible, right? It's, for namesake, it's a secular country. It's a secular country. Perhaps they are more secular in their approach than many other countries in the world. But yet it is that. Recently, Rishi Sunak, who is a practicing Hindu, in the coronation of their king, was reading from the things of Bible. Because it is a tradition, it is a culture of the country. It has to do with what has connecting with your heritage and the past. And there is nothing overtly or covertly religious about it. This is what most of the people in the country identify with. It is not against any belief or other things. And that's why there was, I think, an all-inclusive prayer.
Okay, Sarika Paswan of the RJD, you know, at a time when all of us as Indians should... No, one second, Mr. Majumdar. Sarika Paswan, you know, when we should all come together as one country and be proud of the fact that there is, in record time, a new parliament building has been constructed. You have put out yesterday this absolutely distasteful tweet comparing the design to a coffin. I mean, this is the birth or the rebirth of a great nation, a beginning of a new chapter, and you're comparing that to death. Today you are comparing the Prime Minister holding the Sengol to Mogambo holding a rod. I mean, come on, you got to rise above these things. This is distasteful. It's below the belt.
थैंक यू जाका. आपने कहा कि रीबर्थ और जो नई संसद भवन का जो इनोवेशन हुआ कल, तो रीबर्थ था वो, लेकिन जो विजुअल्स हमने देखे वो बिल्कुल क्लियर था. संसद जो होता है इज नोन एज अ टेम्पल ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, लेकिन कल वहाँ कोई लोकतंत्र नहीं, मुझे लगा कि राजतंत्र, एक राज्याभिषेक हो रही है किसी के, एक डिक्टेटरशिप जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी देश में लागू करना चाहती है, उसकी तस्वीर कल दिखी. और वो वाकई में मुझे लगता है कि भारत के लिए, भारत जो कि एक सेकुलर कंट्री के रूप में जाना जाता है, जहाँ हर धर्म हर जाति के लोग रहते हैं, तो ये कल जो दिखाई दी तस्वीर वो वाकई में विचलित करने वाली थी. क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने हमेशा से अपने एजेंडे में रखा है कि देश को हिंदुत्व की ओर मोड़ करके ले जाना. और हमें लगता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी देश में वापस से मनुस्मृति को लाना चाहती है, उस जो वर्ण व्यवस्था को वापस लाना चाहती है. जबकि संविधान में ऑलरेडी मेंशन है 79 आर्टिकल में कि संसद के साथ 3 महत्वपूर्ण, यानी राष्ट्रपति, संसद भवन के लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा, वहां कहीं भी प्राइम मिनिस्टर का कोई जिक्र नहीं है. बावजूद इसके उस पूरे फंक्शन, उस पूरे सेरेमनी से हमारे जो महामहिम द्रौपदी मुर्मू, जो देश की प्रेसिडेंट है, उनको इनविटेशन तक नहीं दिया गया. और सारे
सारिका जी, आपने देखा होगा उनका मैसेज था जो पढ़ाया गया वहां पे. उनके मैसेज में उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि शी इज वेरी हैप्पी दैट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज द राइट पर्सन टू डू द इनॉग्रेशन. इसके बावजूद आप फिर भी कहेंगे कि उनको ना बुलाना या उनको इनॉग्रेशन ना करवाना वो अभी भी इश्यू है. आपने उनका मैसेज सुना होगा कल.
जाका, आपको लग रहा है कि सिर्फ ये कह देना कि द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी ने ये मैसेज दिया है कि शी इज हैप्पी विद ऑल द रिचुअल्स जो भी हो रहा है संसद में, इफ शी इज नॉट पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन ऑल दैट थिंग्स, नहीं, ये मुझे नहीं लगता कि एक्सेप्टेबल है. और किसी के द्वारा नहीं, एटलीस्ट हमें समझ में आ रही है कि ये इस तरह की अगर आपने फंक्शन की थी, और खास करके संसद भवन से, तो वहां पे हमारी प्रेसिडेंट का होना बहुत जरूरी था. और अगर वो लाते तो मुझे लगता है कि आज हम सब बैठ करके डिबेट नहीं कर रहे होते, आज हम इसे चेरिश कर रहे होते, सेलिब्रेट कर रहे होते. नया संसद भवन जरूर है.
Aprajita Sarangi, not just Sarika Paswan, I think the Congress party also tweeted this. What they are saying that what happened yesterday was less inauguration of a new parliament building. It was more like a coronation ceremony. It was a Rajabhishek is the word that was used.
See, these critics chose to see what they wanted to see. Isn't it a matter of pride for every Indian of this country that in line with the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we were able to construct a magnificent building? An architect from the country was able to kind of design and ensure that the design was translated into reality. I think this is a matter of pride for all of us, I reiterate. Now, these people do not want that the ghosts of Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker should be disturbed. You know, I mean, that something historic happened yesterday. And all these people came with different kinds of cartoons, different kinds of statements, and in the process they have belittled themselves. I think Prime Minister, with the right kind of policy and intent, thought of 2026 when the delimitation exercise would take place, and something which was already on the cards was actually translated into action. A beautiful building with 888 seats in Lok Sabha and 384 seats in Rajya Sabha has come up, and I think all of us need to be very proud of. As far as the President's presence is concerned, let me tell you very emphatically that these are the people who actually had boycotted the motion of thanks after her address in the joint session of Parliament. So I think these people, I don't think they have the locus standi or they have the moral authority to speak anything.
Mr. Majumdar, one of the problems that you seem to have is that, there is this disconnect. What the BJP is claiming is you cannot go, as far as India's history is concerned, you can't just judge by the last 300 years of colonial rule. India is an ancient land, a civilizational land. There are cultural moorings, there are civilizational moorings, and you cannot, take that away just because we've had 300 years of colonial history. What the BJP is saying that they're doing is to take India back to its cultural and civilizational moorings, and yesterday was part of that. They're saying that the Sengol, for example, was discarded by Pandit Nehru. It was given to him on the eve of independence. The BJP's contention is it was discarded in a museum. It took the BJP and Mr. Modi after 75 years to give it back its rightful place right next to the Speaker's chair.
Mr. Jacob, you are saying colonial hangover. I was amazed listening Mr. Neelkanthan. He said, look at America, look at Britain, and now you are saying colonial hangover? Who are supporting it, they are suffering from colonial hangover. My question is, there is nothing that what the Indian history, several people will depict history several ways, but only guiding factor is our constitution of multi-party democracy by B.R. Ambedkar and some other wise men. That is our Bible, that is our Gita, that is our Tripitaka, that is our Quran, that is for multi-party democracy. If someday, after someday, when the joint session will be called, and then President will write a letter instead of appearing in the parliament, that I am very happy.
No, Mr. Majumdar, you are saying that the Constitution is the holy book. We all agree. In what way was the Constitution violated yesterday? No, please explain. In what form or fashion was the Constitution violated yesterday?
Yes, Constitution says anything revolving around Parliament has two things. President is the must. President's name is written in the Constitution of Prime Minister.
Where does it say the only powers given to the President are to call for a joint session of the Parliament? Yesterday was not a joint session of the Parliament, it was the inauguration of a Parliament building.
Parliament definition, Mr. Jacob, kindly go through the definition of Parliament in Indian Constitution.
Sir,
if you don't
I know, the people watching this broadcast know, Parliament is the ultimate abode which represents the will of the people through its elected representatives.
What is the section of Parliament where it is, how it is written in the Constitution? Don't misinform the.
I'm sorry. I don't think anywhere. I don't think anywhere it is mentioned that the power of the people is not vested. The power of the people is not vested in the president. I'm sorry. No, I disagree.
At least
you're confusing viewers. You are factually wrong, Mr. Majumdar. I'm sorry. Let me bring in Anand Neelkanthan. Anand, quieten down. You don't need to shout at me. Okay, relax. Anand Neelkanthan, but the point that Mr. Majumdar made is that on the one hand, the BJP and historians like yourself have a problem with this colonial hangover and colonial version of history, but at the same time, all the examples you gave, United States, Britain, etc., that's also quoting colonial powers only.
I was not saying that that all the rituals we conducted, we decided to do that. The inauguration, we decided to do that because America is doing it. I'm saying this is every country has its roots in its own civilization and tradition. We have a 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years history, a very inclusive history of different cultures. It's a cluster of civilization. We have used the lion capital. We have used the Ashoka Chakra, Dharma Chakra. These were also religious symbols, isn't it? These are all the symbols of Buddhism. When we accepted the constitution, all these wise men, our founding fathers, they decided to use that, and we accepted it. Why? Because this is not a negation of religion. This is not a negation of tradition. Similarly, this is also a part of the tradition, inclusiveness of the other parts of the country. So far, the history which has been narrated, the history which has been told, have been either told from the colonial point of view and especially from the Delhi-centric point of view. It is time that the other part of the country, like the south of the country, east of the country, are getting its own prominence, and we are happy that this is happening now. Why should there be a grudge on it? And if I can understand that people
Sarika Paswan,
may have difference of opinion, that is the beauty of the democracy.
You know, what Mr. Neelkanthan is saying, that, you know, Ashok Chakra was used, that had a Buddhist connotation to it. The 4 lions from Sarnath, again, has a Buddhist connotation to it. So if that was acceptable when the constitution was adopted, when India became independent, why were yesterday's rituals not acceptable to you?
जो रिचुअल्स में हमें उससे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन बस एक प्रश्न है जो मुझे लगता है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारे यहाँ मैडम है, मैं उनसे भी पूछना चाहती हूँ कि अगर हमारे आदिवासी समाज से आने वाली महामहिम प्रेसिडेंट को अगर बुलाया जाता तो मैम कहाँ प्रॉब्लम थी और कहाँ दिक्कत आ रही थी? जब हर मठ के वहाँ तरह तरह के मठों से मुझे लगता है कि पूरे इंडिया के कोने कोने से लोग वहाँ पे मठाधीशों को बुलाया गया, तो फिर हमारे प्रेसिडेंट को क्यों नहीं इनवाइट किया गया? क्या सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि वो एक आदिवासी समाज से आती थी, या सिर्फ इसलिए कि वो एक महिला थी? मतलब being a lady, I think हम सबको इसके लिए अपने वॉइस को रेज करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ
we'll leave it at that. Sarika Paswan, Aprajita Sarangi, JP Majumdar, Anand Neelkanthan, I'm completely out of time. But like I said, I think what has happened yesterday is a momentous occasion, the beginning of a new chapter, really, the inauguration of a new parliament building. All of us would have been better served, democracy would have been better served, if there were no such low blows that were taken by some opposition parties. But we'll see how this plays out. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll catch you again tomorrow night. Bye.